That next year, 1968, I found myself traveling into Angola, where I had another face-to-face date with a killer. This time, a full-grown African lion. Angola was the diametric opposite to Alaska. Hot sand and bush rather than ice and snow. We arrived and made contact with our Portuguese hunter, Pedro Milo, who had hired trackers for us from the locals. We took a look at the game that was nearby, and after hearing from villagers about a male lion that was pilfering their cattle, I decided my hunt was set for me. We would try for that lion. Our first tactic was to hang an antelope as bait. The next day, we found that the lion had indeed pulled down our bait and had dragged it some distance away. The killer had left suitable clues behind, this time his tracks in the soft sand. We set out to follow them. Jakara, our tracker, sprinted in front of our Land Rover, and sometimes it was tough for us in the four-wheeler to keep up with him. The going was rough in spots. The lion knew we were back there, trailing him relentlessly. We followed him for 3 days. Stopping, picking up his trail again each successive day, then moving on. Finally, on the third day, a fresh track. We were getting close. Pedro urged his trackers on. Each hunt for me has always had its own sense about it, right or wrong. For some unexplainable reason, I felt uneasy. Once we were sure we had picked up the trail, Jakara moved off in front of us at a gallop. Suddenly, Jakara frantically pointed dead ahead. We had bayed the lion on a fallen tree. He was as tired as we were and angry that we had caught up with him. This was the moment, for me, for all of us. My arrow struck him hard, a fatal shot just back of the lungs, but nowhere near enough to knock him down. He turned and charged. Pedro had got off that shot just in time. It had been the lion's life or mine, or any other member of our party. But before Pedro had been able to level his rifle and fire, the lion had swiped at me, burying his claws into my arm. That lion knew I was the one that had hurt him, and he had charged with one thought in mind. Here in Angola, as a last desperate measure, and because we had not hunted skillfully, the backup gun was necessary. This became the tragedy of the moment, and the shock of that lion's charge, his death, hung long over us that day. At this point, a new thought crossed my mind. I must learn to hunt these noble animals on a more equal footing. No big brother standing behind me. No backup gun at all. Let my professional hunter carry a pair of binoculars and just watch.